You were only doing like 1,000 other things.
Apex Beat. Apex Beat.
Oh, we're dropping that
No,
Apex?
it wasn't Apex Beat, no. Was it? No, it wasn't Apex Beat. Shit! I don't remember which one it was. I was pretty sure it was that one. Hold up. Actually, you know what? Take the time, 5-minute break. That way everyone can get like snacks or drinks or whatever ahead of time.
I shall
What
take
are you-
advantage of that. I want some liquid.
Yeah, we'll meet at 51.
Let me make sure I started recording up again. I did.
Pretty bad if you did.
I'm gonna go get another cup of tea then if that's.
Nice hot cup of tea.
My dog going downstairs scared the shit out of me. I thought there was someone in the house.
You saying your dog's not a person?
No, he's in fact not a human person that would have been breaking into my house.
Are you sure about that?
If he is, I could take him. I'll be right back.
Welcome back.
You traded me, not for Alec. Man, this cake
That's
pop
more than
sucks
fair.
ass. Why do people buy this?
Okay, there you go. Okay. That's the one. I was looking full. Skim. Make sure it will be. Yeah. This is perfect. More or less. All right, cool.
Why the Terminator music?
Dun 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 dun.
I was going for Battlefield.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh, I was thinking Call of Duty.
We all had different options there.
Because of how basic that beat track is. I guess. Oh, that's probably the map.
Maybe a wee bit.
A wee bit.
Aye, just a wee bit. Oh my god, it's been so long
Remember
since
this
we've been here.
screen?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been here, huh? Yeah. Okay, hold on. Yeah, let me just.
Oh, I kill these 3 idiots.
Yeah. So yeah, holy hell, it's
I'm back.
been
Nope.
been a while since we've been here, huh? Then I guess I can finally put everyone back on the screen now.
Ew.
I guess technically Ichabod's over here. If you
Oh, look at that! I like that.
Oh, yeah, this little
technically Ichabod joined Captain Oswin and sabotaging the civilians. So
fair enough. Oh, we got hot Dragon Bard lady.
she has a name.
I don't remember what it is. I'll be completely frank.
Evelina?
Evelina.
Correct, Evelina. Are we all back? No, we're going to cursor for energy. No, not all back.
Getting
I didn't need to.
some
I didn't need you guys to answer. I don't need you.
Good job. You figured it out. You know what? Good
Fuck
job.
you.
Congratulations,
Damn.
Crash. You're smart and you remembered things.
You did so good. I'm proud of you.
I'm going to give Garth the inspiration, Patty. Here's a token.
I didn't token anything.
Here's a inspiration, Patty.
Oh shit!
The inspiration, Patty. Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
Where is it? Where? Where is it? You
Oh,
have
yeah, you
if
have
I
the
can't if I
inspiration
can't
patty.
find it before Kirsty comes back, then I won't get. Oh wait, no, I found it. No, too late. It's yours now, buddy. Here you go.
How do de-inspiration patties work?
If you have inspiration, you lose it.
Oh, I thought it was just at any point you can impose disadvantage on a roll.
That would also be that'd be,
That'd be
so
pretty
annoying to
funny.
keep
Maybe if
track
you have
of.
like no inspiration to steal, like it's like
Oh,
Bit aside, do you want me to
Hello.
actually take off the de-inspiration?
Hello.
Ah, you were so close to saving me.
What?
What a
Why?
shame.
What happened?
I was Garth was like being pandering or not
I was
pandering.
being nice,
being-
you dickweed.
When you say it like that, I don't believe that in the slightest.
What did he
Yeah,
do?
dude, yeah,
What did
you
he
did
do?
so well, dude. Yeah, Timmy, you did so well. You did so well, Timmy. I know you didn't miss, like, you didn't hit any goals in the soccer match, but you did so well.
oh, you did so well. Pat your head patronizingly.
The patronize, that's the word, not pandering.
I was actually being nice. Why?
So why were you bullying Timmy at the football match?
I'm playing Nights of Crash.
I'm Timmy. Well,
Oh,
see,
you're
that's
Timmy,
see, that's your second problem. Since when do I want compliments from you guys? That's what I fucking thought. Yeah, so you're getting that de-inspiration patty.
So we got to be talking shit to you then? Is that?
No, I want you guys to appreciate things implicitly. I don't need your fucking exaggerated words and expressions of emotion.
I don't know what implicitly means. Okay.
God damn!
Stupid.
Read a
Alright.
fucking.
Oh no.
Educate yourself.
Real East Coast kindness right now, huh? Anyway,
Did you add your fucking horse over here?
yeah, your guys' forces are getting killed.
She is an NPC.
So what you're saying, Crash, is you want this.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Alright,
pity
roll
nobody
back.
used webcam then.
Roll back. So,
Yes.
so I know music's not playing right now. Just to set everything
Come
up.
back.
So this is the timeline-wise. This is Sajar. Basically, that I think it's the second night that the Heartlanded crew had the same Dream City sequence as the Twinsian crew, and vice versa. So second night is when Sajar disappears from his bed. Blah 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 blah. I will say to you, Fred, Sajar's belongings that he did not have. Wait. I think you guys had all your kit when you guys were in the Dream City, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe we did.
Okay, so all the kit you had on you in the Dream City came with you.
Okay.
So yeah, so you have whatever content that is. I feel like it's probably all of your stuff because not like you wear armor, so I think you can carry a lot of shit. But anyways, so chronologically, second night. So there you go. The end, if you want to call it that, the end of the timeline is the fifth night, and I guess technically the sixth day is what you know what I mean. 5 to 6, 5 on to 6. So yeah. Let me just put this. Boop. I'll make sure to repeat it on. So, Sajar, you use the innate magical properties and powers of the Dreaming City to teleport to the object of your desire, or one of the objects of the person. Let's not objectify the person that your heart covets. It sends you through the dreamscape and back into the mortal realm, and it's sort of like a desync in like a video game or something like that, and the server's trying to resync everything. You could feel this dreamscape presence of yours flying through this otherworldly space. It's not even the void. The void has a confirmed emptiness, and well, not emptiness, blackness, so this is emptiness. You could see your body, I guess you would say your waking form, flying parallel next to you, going through the same empty space, and you guys are on an intercept course. You're slowly getting closer and closer together. One of you is all kitted up, fitting for what you had in the dream. Say the other you is, peaceful, sleeping. You eventually collide, touching, making contact with one another, and you meld into one vessel, one form. And as you do so, you are it's like sort of like coming out of hyperspace. You go from this nothingness to the provinces, sort of flying through the sky in a top-down, sort of like almost like a meteor. I guess you can imagine it like that. You're flying. You're shrouded by this otherworldly energy that's sort of like not pushing aside clouds and mist and stuff like that amidst the night, but it allows you to sort of coast through it and you don't feel any of it. Your fight or flight reflex kicks up as you begin approaching the ground. The ground, like sort of like a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is fast approaching, and it's sort of like you're in a state of sleep paralysis. You're not able to move any of your limbs while this is all happening. You can just sort of look around. Don't worry, there's no sleep paralysis demon chasing you. But nonetheless, the ground is fast approaching, and you know what happens when people at a certain speed come into contact with an immovable object. They usually splatter, die, break, etc. But as you are about to make head first contact into the ground, you coast through the ground in a manner similar as you passing through all the clouds and the mist and the fog and the rains and the wind and so on, and it not affecting you. The same deal happens here. You breach into the ground and coast through it as if there was nothing there. It's a rather peculiar feeling. You imagine this is what it must look like to, like, I don't know, like a zombie rising up from the grave, being surrounded by dirt and rubble and stone. It's rather peculiar. Or being buried alive. You coast through the ground, and it is dark because you're in the fucking ground. There's no light anywhere for you to see. You coast through the ground, and you could feel your velocity beginning to decelerate, to lower, until you eventually arrive in a cavern space, a tunnel, a relatively large tunnel. It's about some 20 feet wide, maybe 10 feet tall, maybe a bit higher. Almost like a tram, this force surrounding you, this force conveying you to your destination, stops and fades, and you drop about a foot onto the dirt, the ground. You feel immensely fucked up right now. Which is to say, go ahead and add 4 degrees of exhaustion to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are not in a good ways now that field has left you. Like, you feel it all rack on you immediately. You are able to stand up. You feel not concussed, but definitely out of it. Your mind is reeling and spinning. You look around. It's absolutely pitch dark down here, but you can make out a faint glint of light above. This is on this sort of sloped tunnelway. Going upwards, you do see a glint of light out there. Just like around the bend, so to speak. As you continue looking around, you hear the sounds further down of something metallic moving. Clanking, one might say. As you also look down, you do see a figure on the ground. You can smell the blood in the air. I'm not gonna make you roll jack shit. I know that Sajar thinks often of Isadora. You can make out her figure in the dark. Her silhouette. She is breathing. She is not conscious. There is a pool of blood, a trail of blood leading from there to where she currently is, and a pool accumulating below her. Accumulating, that's the word. She is unconscious, but alive. What do you do?
Yeah, you would rush over to her.
Oh, I should probably... Where's the thing? Do the thing, Crash. Sure. Here's the thing. Ba-ba-ba! Get these stalkers out of here. Get them.
Why she look evilish?
I mean, she is a Magnus.
I mean, she's a Magnus.
Okay, fair enough.
You rush over to her. The ground is a bit loose. It's not compacted ground like you would have on like a road trail or anything. This place has not seemingly been traveled. At least not recently. You rush over to her. You slide down next to her. She's breathing heavily. Again, not conscious.
So Sajari's in a state of heightened stress. This happens to me when I get into like a panic. My emotions almost shut off, and very calmly, he reaches into his bag, takes out a jar that he's carried since he left the desert all that time ago, unscrews the cork, and starts methodically applying the restorative ointment that she saved him with.
Roll it
As
up.
he does that, yeah, let's see how.
I don't
do
recall what the
that?
number is. I think it's 44 plus something. Restorative.
I have 2 charges.
Oh my god.
If I have enough time, I'll just dump both of them.
There it is. It only takes an action to apply. It's 2d8 plus 2 apparently. It ceases to be poison if it is poison, and they're cured of any disease if they're diseased.
2d8 plus 2?
Correct.
Do I have time to apply both charges?
It's only 2 actions, so 12 seconds, yes.
Yeah. So let's see, that would be 4d8 plus 4 then.
Yes.
Not bad.
Let's see, 48 at max. You're 1 point below average. So, yeah, not too bad.
And then as he is applying it, can I sort of apply a healing hand as well?
Certainly.
Let's point that. How much is that?
I think it's your level.
Yeah.
So that is a grand total of... You are still level 8 at this point, so 27.
Yeah.
27. You begin opening up this container. It still smells the same as it did when it was on you. You begin rubbing this salve across all the exposed bits, which there's a lot of cuts and burn marks across her gear. So you can actually pretty easily see through her armor and attire to begin applying this salve, this poultice. As you do so, some of the wounds do begin closing. Your hands begin taking on a glow as well as you apply your natural capability of healing. She stirs for a bit, like her eyes are like, it's like immensely hard for her to stay awake, to focus, to do anything at this point. You imagine she probably has an equal amount of exhaustion as you, maybe more. But her eyes like sort of flutter open. She like sort of blinks, almost like she's waking up from a dream. Is this Shaw?
It's me. I'm here.
You can't be here. It's not safe. She like tries to push herself up and immediately fails. She's like some of the pool of blood that she was causing. She gets up like a few inches and just splatters back into it. Some of the drops of blood flick onto you.
Her, so my arm is behind her back and supporting her head with my hand.
Roll me a dex save at disadvantage.
Yeah.
Not much better with yourself. That's good enough. You're right next to her already, so good enough. You manage to wrap your hand around her or behind her head, so as she falls again, you're sort of there to cushion the blow. But you're definitely in the red, so to speak. She once again tries to like stir, get up, speak, all that sort of business. We have to get out of here. It's not safe. I can hear them approaching.
Do you have a place to go?
She looks around, which is like, you guys can't really see jack shit. There's one source of light that's up there, and she points that direction. Get to the surface.
How far?
I don't know. Just get to the surface. They won't chase us that far.
Can I look up and try to gauge how far the light source away is?
Roll me, I guess, perception.
At
Like-
disadvantage.
At disadvantage. That's
Oh,
persuasion.
and the other one's the gnat.
The other one's a nat. Also, this is persuasion, not perception. Is your perception higher than your persuasion? Is it any different?
Oh, persuasion. My bad. Perception is lower. It's
What's the difference?
3 lower.
3 lower, so that's a 7.
7. Yeah.
It's hard to gauge this distance. Like, in the midst of all this darkness, like, you have no points that your like vision and mind can use as like reference of like a metric of distance where you currently are.
Does the light seem to be... I know it's hard to tell with that low roll. Does it seem to be obscured by anything? Like anything's in front of it?
It's sort of like... Yes, sort of. So you're sort of seeing the... If you want to use D&D terms, the dim light of a source of light. Because you are seeing the rays of... I'll tell you this. This one's for free. It's rays of moonlight that are out there that you're seeing the ends of that are like around the corner. So imagine like an L. Yeah. So you're not seeing it directly, the source of light.
Okay. Do I think it's within 500 feet?
That's hard to tell. Because light technically goes infinitely, because that's how rays work. And you're not 100% certain, given all the underground travel you did, and it's hard to say. Given your state right now, and given her state, messing up a dimension door might be like really bad if you like teleport to like a rock or something. And that's the other point. The surface is that direction. You don't know what's on the surface. You might be on the side of a hill, in a mountain. There might be a massive tree out there. Like all these different unknowns.
I would lift her up and at quarter speed because my movement is halved.
You can't dash, so it sort of keeps the same.
Yeah. But from the exhaustion, my movement is halved.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're quite right. I'm gonna make a save for Isadora. All right, that's about what I expected. She does lean on you heavily, but she is not like dropping to the ground, and you're basically
I would
dragging.
straight up lift her up, like carry her.
She is able to stand on her own 2 feet once you're the impetus for standing. She probably would have been able to stand up on her own before, but she's able to walk and hold her ground if she has you to lean on.
Then I do that.
The two of you begin making your way up. It's a slow, not literally a crawl, but it might as well be a crawl in terms of speed. Make me another perception check. I would say roll it straight, because it's sort of you and Isadora both rolling, so you have advantage. So your chances are. Oh! Oh! Oh, baby! Man, I gotta get used to marking these down on the list of crits again. Gotta get back in the practice of doing it for all these PCs. Look at 29 20s and 9 1s. Damn. Jeez. That sound coming from behind you down the tunnel. It's not speeding up. It's not slowing down either. It's rather methodical. I would say with a nat 20, you can determine that there are 5 set of bipedal tracks falling behind you guys. They are definitely approaching. No increase or decrease in speed. With a nat 20, if you guys hurry, you guys will probably make it out of here before they even see you. But that's under some assumption that they have some limitation on darkness. Like dark vision. Because this tunnel, you don't know how long it goes either direction. up or down. Up because you can gauge the distance, down because you just outright can't see down that way. So you definitely have some pep in your step, some spring to your heel. If you want to use Mr. Jack terms.
How secure is the footing?
It's not terrible. You, like, having traversed the dunes of the Frajaran Peninsula and the Exchange, walking on sand, way worse than this. Like, this is loose dirt, maybe, like, an errant, like, stone that isn't fully embedded in the ground around it. That's really it. There is some stonework, some, like, exposed, rather, stone. Like a massive stone, not like a bunch of small stones that you could, like, traverse on. So, definitely not the worst you've gone through.
Okay. I think because he can't determine how dangerous it would be for him to actually dimension door, so unless they catch up, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't know how far it is. Does the light seem to be getting closer at all?
Well, let's find out about that. Make me an athletics roll. Oh, I totally forgot something in the pre. Okay, well, we'll get to that when we get to that. Make me an athletics roll. Roll it straight, because Isidore's helping you. And we'll add +1 to this.
+1, alright.
For the Heartlandic crew, you will be getting a +1 to this ongoingly, but we'll get there when we get there. So, 14. It is getting closer. It is definitely 100% getting closer, and not at terrible... Given how racked you two are, not at terrible speed. Make me another perception check now. This one is at disadvantage, though.
Yes, you got it.
Because Isidora doesn't know how to help you in this instance. That
That first roll, though.
first roll would have been really nice. Awkward.
Can I take if I pop an inspiration there, may I take the first roll?
I'll let you cancel the disadvantage. It will be the first roll, sure.
Yeah, I'll spend my inspiration.
Pop! So you got that 21. Nice, baby, nice. So, distance-wise, you are probably from the bend, about, I don't know, 40-some feet. And from the wind that you're feeling around that bend, you're not that far from the surface's entrance. From the airflow that's hitting this place. Probably, I don't know, so anywhere from 10 to 30 feet after the fact. That's what you can detect. No confirmation on the 10 to 30, but, you know, not too bad. So anywhere from 50 to 80.
Isadora, I'm about to cast a spell on the both of us. It will give you some speed, but when the speed fades, you will feel like crap. Can you handle that?
I already feel like crap. Do it.
I
Feels
twin
like
cast haste.
Like, ironic smile on herself.
Yeah, so, boom. I'll mark down the points for that.
So that would double your half movement. So you basically get normal speed now, and then
Yeah.
you could double dash.
Yeah.
You could dash with the haste, and you could dash with your normal action. So that would put from 60. Anywhere from, it depends if you want, like, it depends on the rolling. But for narrative's sake, I'll just say it just goes to 180. Regardless, you're definitely getting out of here in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
So you cast the spell, and you begin. Well, I guess time slightly slows around you. You begin hurriedly moving, both the two of you. You guys semi-sprint with what little energy you have left. And you coast around the bend and see the surface, about some 25 feet. The entrance, that is. This sort of, hole, this gaping, like, cavern entrance, not perfectly flat, but maybe at most 30 degrees, embedded in the side of some hill or mountain or something like that at the foot. You could see through the entrance a large number of trees. You could see the moon and the stars and the sky, all the good stuff. And as you are surging forward, you are greeted with, you know, fresh air, the scent of pine, all that good. Not drowning in the earth sort of stuff. And as you begin making distance, I'm gonna keep that 22 nat 20 perception from earlier. At a certain threshold around that bend, you just hear the footsteps behind you stop, and then just turn around. Like they become growing further and further, quieter and quieter. You rush out from the entrance, and the two of you just sort of plop. You guys still have haste on you. You guys sort of plop onto the grass out there. Plenty of grass and weed, overgrown and stuff like that. What? I guess I shouldn't ask what your passive perception is. What is your passive perception?
12.
12. As you and Isadora make it out of there, you see that there are a number of figures. About so trying to remember 1, 2, 3, 19 or so out there. It doesn't take a fucking Tollus level education. They're Nevros. They are dressed in assorted hides and leathers. A number of them have souvenirs, mementos of hunts and kills and stuff like that. They are, how to say, they are semi-uniformly garbed. They all carry this sort of, they all wear this sort of armband. I guess more like a pauldron. This pauldron that has a long flowing black banner, I guess, the best way to call it, that sort of flows off their side, off the left, or the right side. If it's the pauldron's on the right side, the left side on the left side pauldron. Each of them only have one pauldron. This little banner only goes about to their elbow, maybe a bit longer on some of them. The bottom is ripped. There are holes in many of theirs, rather, weatherwardness and stuff like that. And on this banner, it rather ominously, there is the symbol of like half a skull. Ooh. Like sort of shouting, like a wide open skull, half of it. The other half has an axe. It's sort of digging into that skull, finding purchase in it. You speak Nevros, right?
I do.
They talk in Nevros.
Yeah, I do.
They're saying something. They say something in Nevros. One person in particular, the closest one to you, definitely the tallest, definitely the broadest shoulder of all of them. Lugaratos, most likely. He says the following. So, they were right. There are people out there. He crouches down in front of you and tilts his head like inquisitively. And who are you two? So distant. He leans a bit closer forward, squints as if he sees something. He has this sort of cloth mask in front of his face, so it's hard to see his expression. Roll me an insight.
At disadvantage?
At disadvantage, unfortunately.
There it is.
That sounds right.
We found it, boys.
Wait, I have a thing for this.
He has a thing for this. What's the thing you have for this? Hey!
Do I re...
You would
let's
re-roll the disadvantage.
Yeah.
Ooh.
13?
That's way... That's way better! Way better. You look up at him because you're sort of sprawled on the ground right now. Again, the exhaustion is hitting you. Catching up to you, rather. His body language, and you can make out through the moonlight sort of like a bit through the cloth. It's not that thin, but you could just sort of make out some general shadowing of his like jaw shifting and stuff like that. He's smirking underneath that cloth mask of his that just sort of hangs loosely in front of him. But he's not acting, he's waiting on something. And the two of you sort of look at one another as the rest of his, a dozen and a half, unincluding him, begins encircling, closing in. Make me a perception roll.
Yeah,
This one is that. What's up?
Hmm?
Make me a perception
I
roll.
was
Then
gonna
what's your
ask.
question?
Do any of them look like mages? Hard to tell, I guess.
Roll inside. Or not inside, perception. It's hard
My
to
guy.
tell. It's hard to tell. You don't know what sort of casters they would have. Do these casters have unique components or foci or something like that? And it's just honestly just hard to even look around. Like, you'd have to really get up and like begin turning, getting a survey of the area and all of them to get like a better glimpse of what their kit is. But getting up might not be the move right now.
Yeah.
Eventually, as like you're looking around and he's waiting and they're getting closer, the thing he was waiting on happens. Your haste ends.
Figured.
As you're like beginning to or trying to continue looking around and stuff like that, the haste wears out and you're immediately hit by a wave of lethargy, and you can see that jawline shift in the same direction but wider now. You have no clue where you are. You are far from your original home, your ancestral home. You're far from your new home, your new family, if you want to call them that. I mean, if they deserve it, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's up to you. You are, to so to speak, a stranger in a strange land. And you're wondering what is going to happen. But as, before you can even finish out the thought, the moonlight that sort of is around this area suddenly goes away. Immediately. For a moment, you're wondering if this is some Nevros capability these guys have. It wouldn't be, it's definitely precedented Nevros powers and their fellow gods giving, I'd say, their ability to them. Especially darker powers. The moonlight that illuminates the space immediately goes away. You are plunged into darkness on a moonless night, as if. Then you hear the sounds of confusion. They speak in Nevros. What is this? What's happening? Ligratos, is this you're doing? All these questions. They're bewildered. They're caught off guard. Is this them? In the span of some 6 seconds, this fast-rolling thought process of theirs kicks off. Confusion, then they decide you must be the source of it if none of them are the source of it. And you hear the sounds of one of them suddenly surging forward towards you, getting closer. But then you hear the sounds of something wet. A slicing sound. And then the sounds of 2 objects falling. One heavier, much heavier than the other.
Do I have the wherewithal to sort of bear hug Isadora and roll over to protect her?
I would say they took them 6 seconds to get their fucking wits about him. Yeah, you're out of the haste wave of lethargy. Yeah, so you grab onto Isadora. No rolling necessary on this. You grab Isadora and begin rolling. I'm assuming you're rolling in such a way that you're on top of her.
Yeah, I just want to shield her.
Are you trying to also get distance, or are you just trying to get on top?
Yeah, I'm just trying to body block anything that comes our way.
Gotcha. Make this is a weird one. Perception, but use your con and push your wisdom.
Okay, let's see. Perception.
I would say this. Can she really help? Nah, I don't think she can help with that. Still at disadvantage, I'm afraid.
So roll 2d20 DL1.
DH1.
DH.
Highest, as opposed to the lowest.
Yes, and then my con is 5. I'm not proficient.
Maybe someday. Hey, not bad! Okay. So that fortune will carry through as this is all going on. This is sort of you in the midst, basically being plunged into darkness. You're feeling your surroundings as opposed to just strictly listening and hearing and, we're not seeing jack shit, smelling and stuff like that. This is more based on the sense of feel, touch. You roll atop Isadora and try to give her protection. more sound. There's a moment of silence after that incident happens, and then the sounds of anger, more confusion, subsequently followed by the sounds of stabbing, slicing. There's a couple of bludgeonings here and there. Just moment, one by one, all these voices clamoring, confused and angry. Their number begins dwindling. The amount of voices shrinking, until one last voice is left, shouting against the darkness, demanding whoever is doing this to come out and fight like a proper Nevros. No voice ever answers him, but a blade does find purchase through his back as the light returns around all of you. You see this figure standing atop you. His blade is like stabbed into the back of the Ligeratos. He's not even looking at him. He's looking down at you guys. And then he pulls the blade out, flicks the blood off, and immediately sheaths it on his back. He crouches on ahead of you two, as you begin sort of lifting yourself so that now that you guys are in a bit more secure position, Isadora and you are able to breathe easy, as it were. He tilts his head and looks at you. And he stares at you in particular for an intensely long amount of time. So intensely that he almost doesn't even seem to notice that the Ligeratus behind him is still alive. And he's getting up.
Magic missile.
You cast Magic Missile, and your bolts fly from your hand and pound into the Ligeratos. See if he... I'll give him disadvantage, because, you definitely wasn't anticipating that. Plus...
It was the first level, so it's a very, just sort of reaction.
Why does this not roll? Why is it not? Wait, why is it not rolling? Oh, because I didn't put 2d20, I'm stupid. I can't read this far down. There you go. 11. Your magic missiles slam into him, and as he was in the midst of getting back up, it shoots him backwards and knocks him back on his ass. He's like, oh, blood. He coughs up a large amount of blood, and then the figure that crouched up atop you is still staring at you. And then he finally, after a couple more seconds, looks over his shoulder at the still alive but immensely wounded Ligeratos. And then he looks back to you. And then he just stands up, and you see him do a series of hand motions right in front of, around his sternum area, in front of his rib. Or at the lower part of his ribs. A series of hand motions. You have no